On July 6, 2016, the man who had investigated more than 6,000 paranormal cases felt fear for the first time. Not fear of ghosts, not death, but fear of something that knew him and was done waiting. If someone spent their entire life chasing the paranormal, at what point does the paranormal start chasing them back? This is the story of Gaurav Tiwari, founder of Indian Paranormal Society, a man who built his reputation on logic, science, and skepticism, even while standing in places most people don't dare to enter. And tonight's story isn't about the cases he solved, it's about the one he didn't walk away from. In 2009, Gaurav found the Indian Paranormal Society, an organization meant to investigate causes that people couldn't explain. But here's what made him different. He didn't start with spirits, he started with psychology, schizophrenia, dissociative identity disorder, trauma, hallucination, and stuff like that. Gaurav believed most possession had human explanation. This is why people trusted him and why this final case terrified even him. The call came from Janakpuri, Delhi, a father desperate and panicked. His daughter was changing, not slowly, not subtly. She was screaming for hours, locked herself in her room, growling in a voice that wasn't hers. At a point, she walked into her parents' bedroom holding a dagger. They disarmed her, but that was the moment they knew whatever haunted their daughter was never living on its own. Well, here's the part that still haunts people. Gaurav wasn't supposed to go. His health was falling. He was exhausted and deeply depressed. His team was ready to handle the case without him. But when Gaurav heard the details, he changed his mind. He said the situation sounded too severe, and then quietly he said something really strange. Then later, whenever he tried to rest, something inside him wouldn't let him, like it was waiting for him to give up. As the team arrived at the building, they could hear the girls screaming from outside. People were standing on balconies and hallways, keeping their distance. Everyone moved away, except Gaurav. As he entered the building, the screaming grew louder and louder. As the elevator rose, it grew even louder until suddenly silent. The door opened and the girl saw Gaurav, and for the first time in days, she stopped screaming. She smiled, not in relief or calm, but as if she was recognizing something. She stared at him for a long moment, as if somehow she already knew everything about him. Then, without another word, she walked to her room. Her father was stunned. He said this had never happened before, and that when Hope entered the room. Gaurav instructed his team to set up cameras and EMF meters. Usually, paranormal activities clusters around one area. Not this time. Every camera showed movement. Every EMF meter spiked, especially near the girl's room. And Gaurav knew the only way to resolve this situation was by going inside. The girl sat on the bed. She looked up and said, "You're here." Gaurav asked her who she was, and he said he came in peace. She smiled. "Every evil in this house knows you," she said. "You take us with you." Then she added that tonight you will take another. Gaurav felt it immediately. The voice wasn't coming from the girl, it was from behind him. Something was standing there, close enough to breathe into his ears. And whenever something like that happened, he knew one rule better than anyone: do not turn back. Outside the room, a team member watched the footage and froze. Figures were visible, demonic shapes staring from behind the walls. Not just on one camera, they were everywhere. The team rushed inside. Gaurav was standing completely still. The girl was smiling. This was the first time anyone has ever seen him afraid. Eventually, the investigation ended as Gaurav stepped out of the room. He did what he always did. He spoke aloud, told any entities present to leave the place and come with him instead. No one ever understood how he carried that weight. On the way home, Gaurav was silent. At 1:30 a.m., he reached his house. His wife asked him why he hadn't answered calls. He said something really chilling, that the entities had followed him, that they were laughing, and they wanted to see him die. On July 7, 2016, Gaurav woke up and checked his email, spent time with his family. Then he went to bath. A loud sound came from the bathroom. The door was forced open. Gaurav was found hanging inside. The police ruled it a suicide. His family did not agree. They believed the Chanakpuri case had broken something inside him. Maybe the truth died with him, or maybe some doors one opened never closes again, because some investigators search for answers and some answers refuse to stay behind. There are haunted places, and then there are places that don't care whether you believe in them or not. Places where people didn't just die, they suffered. And in this story, it's about those places. A mine in Missouri where hundreds of workers slowly coughed their lungs out, and something stayed behind to remember it. This story comes directly from people who worked with Gaurav Tiwari. It's documented. This case is remembered as one of the most unsettling investigation Gaurav ever took part in, and it's known as the Lambi Tehar Mines case. The story comes from a conversation Avirup, the author who wrote about Gaurav Tiwari, is sitting with the members of the Indian Paranormal Society, the organization Gaurav founded. Two members are present, Meghna and Siddharth. Meghna says one case immediately comes to, but Siddharth was actually there during it. And Siddharth, he isn't a talker, quite introverted, the kind of person who listens more than he speaks. So when Abhirup looks at him and asks Siddharth, everyone goes silent. And Siddharth finally says, "There's one case I still clearly remember." Lambi Tehar Mines is one of the outskirts of Mussoorie, Uttarakhand. Back in the 1970s and 80s, this place was a source of income for hundreds of families. But there were no safety regulation, no protection. Workers inhaled the lime dust every day. Slowly, painfully, their lungs began to fail. They started coughing blood, vomiting blood, unable to breathe. One by one, nearly 500 workers died. Not suddenly, not quickly, but in agony. Eventually, the mines were shut down. Today, they are abandoned, broken houses, vegetable growing from walls, silence so thick it feels heavy. Locals says if you go there after sunset, your blood will freeze. Some locals says the place is cursed by a witch. Other laughs it off. But strange things keep happening. Trucks fell off road for no reason. Helicopter crashed nearby. People heard crying even during the day. And then there's the story everyone knows. A man driving past the mine saw someone asking for a lift. As the car got closer, the man became blurry and disappeared. The driver speeded up. A little farther ahead, the same man was standing there again, but the third time the driver didn't stop. He went straight home, and the very next day he left Uttarakhand forever. Gaurav Tiwari visited Lambi Tihar mines many times, usually with his close friend and technical expert Raj. They weren't thrill seekers, they documented, measured, and tested. The most important visit happened when C News decided to cover the investigation live. This had never been done before. No payment, no sponsorship, just exposure. Because back then, paranormal investigation wasn't respected. People trusted tantric priest, not science. Gaurav wanted people to see what he saw. They reached Missouri in the afternoon. By evening, they were at the mines. A reporter asked Gaurav why always investigate at night. Gaurav smiled and said ghosts exist during the day too, but at night their power increases. There was excitement in his eyes. The camera rolled. The time was 10:43 p.m. Raj did what he always do. He wandered off alone. Thermal cameras, EMF meters, recorder. Earlier, he had noticed an area near an old doorway with intense reading. He had placed motion sensor, lights, and CCTV there. Now he went back to check. The moment he entered the area, something felt wrong. The darkness felt deeper. The silence felt ancient. He felt afraid. Then he heard it, crying, a voice in pain trying to speak. The EMF meter went wild. Not one entity, many. Raj turned on the recorder and said, "We are here to help you." The cries grew louder. Rajat alerted Gaurav. Gaurav rushed over, angry and scared. "This isn't a game," he said. But when they reached Raj, he was smiling. Photos everywhere. The spirits weren't angry, they were hurt. They wanted to be heard. The CCTV showed a mist moving past the camera, an inhuman breathing sound. Gaurav nodded. "Good job." Then footsteps echoed. Every EMF meter spiked. Every device shut down. Complete darkness. Cries erupted. Then silence. A voice called out, "Gaurav." It sounded familiar. The torch flickered on. Rajat was standing there, but if Rajat was there now, who had been standing beside Gaurav all this time? Raj saw it, an entity identical to Rajat standing to his right, and then gone. Screams, panic. Gaurav stayed calm. "They don't want to harm us," he said. "They just want attention." Gaurav made the call. "We have enough," he said. They exited. "They are here." The team left the mines, and that's how the Lambi Tihar case ended. You can find footage of this investigation or read the book The Ghost Hunter Gaurav Tiwari. Every word in it is true. And one last thing, if your light flickers tonight or your laptop shuts down suddenly, don't worry, they don't want to hurt you. They just want you to know that they are still there.